saying we really want like color to kind of represent things in game and kind of help people like orient good and bad. So like that purple mist, whenever you see it, you should have that feeling of like this is bad. But also, if you know, when we talk about different play styles that players can have, we have what we call duality. And so you
Okay.
have like harnessing that purple energy makes you stronger. We call it wither binding. And so you get stronger. So there's like some sort of like, oh crap, I'm being attacked by this thing,
Yep.
but I see the purple. Let me run in there to get stronger and then come back out to take on this enemy. But also, like, I'm just trying to be a farmer, and now I see the purple cloud coming over the mountain, and you're like, whoa,
Yep.
fuck.
I started running when I seen the cloud. I did get destroyed from a bear.
Yes.
Because I'm like, what's that big red dot? I'm going to go check it out. And then I found out what it was. So,
Yes. So for that demo, we were very intentional because we wanted people to like, it was at a conference, so we didn't want to hold people up too much.
yep.
And so that bear is kind of
Oh.
like our end to the demo. But in the larger world, those would be some of like the enemies that you would encounter by like, hey, there's a big red dot coming at me. Or maybe,
Yeah.
we've played around with like, is there tracks or sound effects or different things that let you know danger is coming?
Yep.
Like, what do you do in that moment?
You pull out that crossbow.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I keep telling Robert, I was like, we just need to like, I just need a dragon. I need to be able to like whistle and like my dragon swoops in and then we just like go off into the.
Saves the day. You know?
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah. Wants to be Daenerys over here.
Hey, that's all I want.
But-
Just one time. We need to be able to put in like the Konami code and then that spawns your dragon.
Sponsor.
And you
Oh,
Oh,
can take
that would be
off.
goodness.
cool. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Coven?
Coven. Yep, correct. I did the new one, and I've never been on Itch before, so
Okay.
that was a big, different platform. I didn't know what I was looking at. To tell you the truth, besides tons of games, like okay,
Oh, it's so many. It's so many. Yeah.
Yeah. Itch is very much like, like baby's first like publishing of a game, and so there's
Mhm.
lots of um, there's lots of games that are on there that are all over the place from like a quality perspective, but
okay,
it's a good platform. Like I think my view of the value of itch is that it's so accessible and it gives a lot of people, especially that are like newer into game development, an opportunity to go through that process of like,
Absolutely.
I have a build, I'm going to publish it. People will like jump in and play it at some point. And so if your build crashes or like is terrible, then
yeah,
like you might get feedback. Um, but it also teaches devs about like the importance of like marketing the page and making it look nice and pretty and like put
Hmm.
together.
yep,
Um, and then if they decide to, that at some point they can like sidestep or level up or whatever you want to call it, and then go into Steam. But Steam has a much higher bar to entry compared to Itch because you have a cost to it. So like anything you put on Steam is like $100 that you have to pay.
yep,
Hmm.
And then they're much more rigid about the initial like marketing push that you get like ad to put on Steam, and
yep.
so it's like they have to have names in certain spots, and like dimensions have to be all set, and so it's very different experience. So
That's pretty
Yeah.
yeah,
strict, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Steam, like, I Robert and I have joked around about it, but like anyone who says that they got approved for Steam on their first submission is a liar.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
unless you've done it before, like there is so much back and forth because and some of it is good. Like to Robert's point, they want to make sure that you have like the best showing of your game, but they
yep,
also have standards that people expect from that platform that you have to meet.
yeah.
okay,
Um,
Yeah,
so
it
yeah,
is. It
so
is. It is interesting though, because there's like sometimes they make mistakes because they are all of the submissions are human reviewed
mm,
at some point, and
okay,
so that is good. But that also means that there's times that they'll make mistakes, and so like I think our last submission it was good, but then the person that was reviewing it made a mistake because then I just resubmitted again and it went through. Um,
oh man,
but those things like that's like the red tape and stuff that people are gonna eventually run into regardless. So
yep,
yeah, like it was our first time kind of going through that process, and so it probably took us like 3 or 4 weeks total
yeah,
um, to get it online, like just get the Steam page up, not even
Yep.
to get the demo or anything, because it was just like, you submit and then you wait about 4 or 5 business days to hear back, and then you get feedback, and then you go and make those edits, you submit again, you get feedback again on like some relatively small change, and
Yep.
so yeah, it takes a bit of a process. So it's good though. It all works out.
And don't you have to hit like $1 million to basically kind of make money on Steam? You have to hit like
Not, I
That's what
mean,
I heard. You had to hit a
it
certain money marker to
it's not
get a bigger
necessarily
deal.
you get better. So every platform that you sell from, with the exception of itch, and probably there's probably other exceptions, but like Steam or PS5 or Xbox or wherever, they're going to charge you what's basically called like a distribution fee,
Okay.
and so they will take a cut of anything you sell on there. So um,
Jeez.
like
Yeah.
it starts, I believe it starts at like 30%. So it's like,
Wow.
and that's like the challenge point with game development and trying to figure out like how much do we actually need to sell to make money,
Yeah.
because as soon as you start through that process, it's like, okay, you have your game amount that you're going to sell for, but then you immediately take off 30% because you have distribution charges. It's like, okay, well that's gone, and it's like, well, you also have to take off a certain
So,
percent for like engine charges. So like Unreal,
Yeah.
and I'm
yep.
not sure how Unity does it anymore, but like they have like a 1 to 5% charge on
Okay.
if you clear a certain threshold, you have to start paying that back. So it's like, okay, now it's like let's say 33% of all money you make is going to these other places, and it's like, well, you need to account for tax. Let's say $29.99 SKU. It's like, okay, well, now you need to pull that out, and you just kind of keep going through these motions where it's like, okay, after tax, what is there? Okay, well, you probably need to figure out a certain percentage of your sales are going to get refunded.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, let's like return 5% or let's return 10%.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, then it's like more off the top, and it's like what like I'm pretty sure that when it comes down to it, for every dollar, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the math on my dollar you make, technically, like 75 cents of that are going to like these other platforms.
Mhm.
Wow.
And sometimes it would be even more than that if you have like a publisher or like a revenue share agreement where, like, let's say you make a quarter off of every dollar you sell,
Yeah.
then maybe like 10 cents of that goes to the publisher. And so it's a very interesting space, and that's why there's such like a huge consideration for monetization in games, is like trying to be able to make a profit in games, especially when you're newer. It can be very challenging, and so people try and find ways to both have like a price skew that people
Yep.
buy to play the game, and then like cosmetic stuff. And
Additional
that's why that's
cost.
such like
Yeah.
it's such a common theme nowadays, is like, well, we don't want to charge, like, I don't want to charge someone $59.99 to play the game. Like, I prefer to charge them maybe $30, but then maybe give them options in the game where it's like, hey, I really like that, shield, and they're
Yes.
selling it for $2.99. I'm happy to get that. Like, that's like,
I love
yeah,
that.
Mhm.
That is the way I love buying things in games. I
yeah,
I I mean, I wasted a lot of money buying different skins in Call of Duty. So I
yeah,
would be a victim of buying a brand new cool looking shield for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
And
successful.
yeah,
Yeah, yes, it
it's
is.
it's been really interesting watching kind of like the evolution of that, because at least for me, like Fortnite was one of the first ones that really
Yep.
was like a mainstream game that I felt like that was a pretty common occurrence, and then Apex did it
Mhm.
shortly after that, and there was a lot of pushback
Mhm.
to Apex because they did like premium priced
Yep. Yeah.
skins, and so it
Yep.
was like $30 or something like that. It's like when you math it out for like a skin for the character, and
Yep.
then over time that's kind of become normalized. Um, so it's I think that there's like a safe avenue to find like a good price for some of those things, but I think like you go into AAA and they're going to try and get as much money as they
Oh
possibly
man.
Yeah.
can. I
That's
Yeah.
get it.
rough.
Like their budgets are crazy, so they have to make that back. But it would be nice to be in a position where we could just charge like $4.99
Yeah.
for like something that's totally optional, doesn't impact the game, but it makes someone sort of like live out their player fantasy a little bit better. Then
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Me too.
those are things that we've like, especially with Leap of Faith, those are things that we've considered. And we're thinking about like how do we create these avenues, especially like, going back to Haven, like we want players to be able to like learn to play to survive their way. And so even with like our ideation process, we're like, okay, well, if somebody plays Haven as like a farming sim, then what would be some additional things that they would want for like the farming sim that don't change the core experience, but maybe like enhance that. And so like, as there's farm decorators, could you buy like the tomato vine thing that tomatoes can grow up and different things like that.
Hmm.
But then on the flip side, like you saw a giant bear running at you, you would want to live out your dream of being like this medieval warrior. Like that's where we could get like, skins that turn your axe into like maybe like I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it, Thor's hammer
Yeah.
kind of. Whatever makes you
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, I mean that's I am looking forward to the day where like we have multiplayer set up and you just have like a bunch of players running around with like tamed animals and they're just like nuking whatever comes across their path with their like army of squirrels or rats or what or whatever they have. Like that's yeah, we're excited to see all the shenanigans that happen once we get multiplayer set up.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Multiplayer, I love for sure.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
campaigns are really good, but interacting with online players, it's kind of where it's at. I
Yeah.
think but yeah,
Yeah. And especially with this one, like we've been working on like, server capabilities and people being able to spin up their own servers. I know Robert has been doing a lot of like really heavy groundwork on that because, once we get that, even our mindset is like people could create servers with different like rules set for that server to then make their world differently for that different type of like fantasy they want to live out, survival experience they want to have.
yeah,
Um, but then we can even think about like, from a gameplay perspective, which is like gameplay programming. I'm messy at it, but I love doing good gameplay programming. What happens if two players are now existing in this world and kind of like, yes, there's the fun kumbaya moments of like, yeah, we're
yes,
working together and my raccoons are being nice with your squirrels, but like, what if my companions are wolves? The animals in our game do have like
yes,
animal logic. And so wolves, when they're hungry, will hunt for squirrels. So if your partner in the game has a team of squirrels, like your wolves are going to attack their squirrels. And like what happens in these situations, or what happens when somebody decides to build a structure and then you come in and you're affected by wither and now you've just like spread the wither all over their farm or inside of their house, and like these chaotic moments that we can create. And so yeah, getting multiplayer spun up is like number one of our list to get going by the top of next year.
yeah. But that's a lot of work that involves in that as well. Like you said, the servers are probably a main issue right there.
Yeah, we're lucky that Unreal does a good chunk of the groundwork for us. Like Robert
Okay.
has had to do a little bit of like work getting it spun up. I say a little very loosely. It's been like I don't know if he slept in the past few days, just like running EXCs to get built.
Okay.
And then like since we built the game single player first, just to like iterate through things quickly, we're now going through and like breaking logic to rebuild it into like multiplayer logic.
Okay.
Um, but some of like the nuanced simplicity of Haven makes it so multiplayer will just work. It's just some of like the world is what we need to make sure the players share together. But like player individual interactions, like that works. I spun up like two server instances yesterday and like dropped two characters in, and like I could see myself playing the game, and I was like, yes, this is success. It's just not ready for us to launch yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Unreal comes packaged with some like pre-baked multiplayer elements, and so in theory, like we could ship without like a server executable file. Provide in the future at some point is someone that can basically like host a server somewhere. So like if they wanted to go rent server space
Yeah.
and then they wanted to just have a persistent server that was always online, and that we could give them that application and then their friends could all like log into that server. And so like one of the value adds that we see, especially for people who stream, is that it's like a viable option to like engage with communities where
Hmm.
someone can like run a server. And you could like Monday talked about the server settings earlier, like if you wanted to live out your medieval farming
Yeah.
simulator in Haven, then you could, because like you could, in theory, we could like disable the wither, and then we could disable like lore, and you could just play the game in sort of this like sandboxy type of environment, that still has like some challenges and stuff, and you can
Yeah.
sort of like customize that experience. So yeah, a big part of what we want to do in the future for the game is just give the players lots of options in terms of how they engage. So if they're playing like with the default rule set, they can be a farmer, they can be a builder, they can focus on like certain elements of the game that they really enjoy or that are appealing to them. And then if you want to like harness the server specs, then you can go and you can totally change maybe like how the functionality of the game works, and invite community to like go in and do what they want to do, and like kind of work like play alongside you.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be sweet for sure.
Hmm.
Cause I'm already loving the game, and just adding a community would be amazing, you know. But trust
Yeah.
me, I'm having fun. Just I already played it like 3 times already, you know.
Good.
Just jumping around, dude. I'm loving the movement, but just the whole graphics of the landscape is just amazing. Yeah.
Thanks.
That is 100% Robert. Robert and we have like a very small team, so Robert and another member of our team have just been going crazy on the art assets. But
Okay. Sweet.
yeah, he won't
Yeah.
call himself out, so I'll call him out. That is
Well,
that is
congrats,
Robert's
Robert. That
artwork.
it's beautiful work for real. It's
Thanks.
amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's turned out pretty well. Like
Kind of
I
looks like
still
my background.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I think I definitely still look forward to the day where like we can get like consistent art direction and like and artists like get in there and tinkering with stuff, because I think there's some pieces where I'm like, well, there's like inconsistent like quality of textures and a few other things that maybe like most people aren't going to notice, but like they stick out to me. And so
Yep.
yeah, I definitely think like I'm pleased with how it looks, and like I think it's totally viable for the time being. Um, and we have a bunch more stuff that we're going to be adding over the next few months, just to yeah keep kind of building that space out. And like multiplayer is a big part of that, so we're looking forward to yeah getting all of that set up. And um, yeah, hopefully here pretty soon we'll be able to have all that done, and like we'll be testing it internally, and
Okay.
letting some of the other people involved like jump in and just like try it out with other players.
Sweet. I'm expecting that invite.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. We need the custom server spun up just so you can
Yeah.
just go in there and like, hey, we're gonna take out this bear. Like that is what
Dude,
we are gonna
that yeah,
do.
I would join you. I want revenge. Let me tell you that.
Oh,
It
so many
it scared
people.
the crap out of me. Tell you the truth, the way it just came out, and I'm like, oh, damn it, that's the red dot.
Yeah.
No, we did like when we were ideating on what we wanted the wither to like be represented as, like Robert had the idea of like, just like ominous like cloud and like spory and just very like not like I know in Shroud it kind of has the shroud, but like we went back and forth between like, a mushroom play could be
Hmm.
like The Last of Us and kind of like gooey and overgrown, or is this more of like an aerial spore? And so we landed on like the purple
Yeah.
and like that color against the green just like it's just so good.
It
And then,
is. It is.
you go in. I don't know if you played with audio, but like when you go in, there's like an audio change too, so you kind of like hear that as well. Um, and then like yeah, that bear. When we decided we wanted to end the demo with like that bear coming at the player and just like one-shotting you,
Yep.
even at the conference we took it to MDev, like so many people were just like, wait, can we try again? I didn't know I had to fight a bear in this thing because it's all like it's so green and friendly, and you have squirrels running behind you, and you're just like,
Yep.
oh, this is like a cozy survival game. This is new, and then like, nope, like death is there.
That's exactly how it went along. I had my squirrel and raccoon running behind me and just exploring to the left side, and then I was like, let's see what this red dot is. And yeah,
Nope,
that is
nope,
Yeah.
yep,
awesome, though. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty funny just seeing because unfortunately anyone who tamed animals and then went into the wither killed their animals. So it was like interesting seeing people react to that because they would have like one or two animals kind of going with them and then go explore that, and then all of a sudden those animals are just dying next to them. So it was like it was a good like shift in tone from like, oh yeah, like this is cool, like I get to like have a squirrel hang out with me, and then it's like, oh, this kind of seems like a mysterious thing, and then
yeah.
they go over and it's like, oh, I just killed my little squirrel friend
Hmm.
who I just tamed and was hanging out with.
Yes, I did that. We ran through
Yeah.
the. Yes, I did that for sure. And I was like, okay, I thought maybe my spell ran off, and and he just went
No,
away. I had to go
Yeah.
catch another one, but no.
yeah,
Now I feel bad.
yeah. You're just killing them, perpetually killing them. Uh,
No, I'm a
and
squirrel
it's
king.
Oh man, and it's great because even like since the environment and the world responds to itself, if you stand still, you can like hear the other animals dying around you. Like as they get absorbed by the weather, you just hear like squirrels squeaking and like raccoons and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like we had a lot of people because at the conference we were like, oh yeah, turn up
Yeah,
the audio so you can
yeah.
like experience the game. And they just thought it was like a cozy game. They're listening to the waterfall, and then all of a sudden you hear like a raccoon die. You're just like, wait, what is going on? Is purple bad? Is purple bad? We're like, yes, purple is bad.
Yeah, I thought purple was good.
No. Well, I guess have you had a chance to try like building? I think that was one of the things that it is in the demo. We don't advertise it as like one of the main quests for players to do.
Okay.
So we didn't know if you had a chance to cycle through that yet.
No, I was gonna ask you a couple of questions how to do some things, cause
Yeah.
I'm more of a controller player. So I did mention that in the survey after.
Hmm.
So that was
Yep.
me that mentioned a controller.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so like the supplies on the bottom, I know you can use them to get your pets. The purple bag or
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
food, the mushroom. I think that's
Yeah, the
yeah.
druid
Yep.
essence. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, but and the crossbow. How do I pull those up? Is there a way? Is there a menu I can pull those up on?
Yeah, so we went with a like a HUD style inventory system, and so you can actually all the boxes across the bottom like are your backpack, are your inventory,
So just
and so
scroll
you can
over it.
interact with those with like yeah, if you press I or J on your keyboard, it'll bring
Okay.
up your mouse cursor,
Okay.
and then you can hover over those weapons and armor. You just need to drag to like the armor slot over to the left side, and then you'll
Okay.
equip that weapon. But everything else, it typically gives you like a right click to eat apple or something like that. Um,
Yeah,
and
I
so that's
just
how you
couldn't
use all
figure
that.
that out. I was like, there has to be, and I was actually pressing the keyboard trying to figure out maybe it's space. I'm like, maybe it's cat. Like I knew there had to be like a main HUD for that for sure. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go at it once we get off again.
there you go. Yes, give it a shot. It's one of the
Yeah.
things we've been playing around with it because I think the initial inspiration was like Don't Starve kind of has a similar inventory system where it's along the bottom.
Yep.
But we've gotten a lot of feedback from players that are used to like more of like a backpack inventory where it's like a different UI that pops up. And then even like Hotbar, like Dawn of Defiance was a game that came up that's in the same genre, kind of similar.
Okay.
And they you can hotbar different things, and then you could like press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to just do what that slot does.
Yep.
So we're toying around with a few ideas. Like we think we might want to make a system where players can decide what kind of inventory HUD they want for the style of play they want. Because we've gotten a few point like people who are used to like Don't Starve and other games like that, they
Yep.
see that at the bottom and they're like, oh, that's inventory, cool.
Yep.
Um, I'm also like a controller guy, and so that was like the one things I brought up with Robert. I was like, wait, I've never seen inventory like that. He's like, play Don't Starve, then you will.
Well, I'll go play that too. So.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. I think so Don't Starve and then Don't Starve Together. Uh we played Valheim. We've gone through so many crafting survival s games just to
Yeah.
like see how we wanted to mold, like take this from that and put this in here and not do that, but do this better. My
Yes.
Steam library is all like games, but all of them have like 30 minutes to 2 hours because I'm like, okay, that's enough. I don't want to
Yep.
fall in love with their game. I want to stay in love with our
Yes.
game. So this
Yes.
is enough. That's enough.
I'll take some ideas and get rid of your bad ones, and yeah, move
There
on.
you go.
Yep.
There
Yeah.
you
That's
go.
perfect. So Coven, that looks pretty fun though too. That
Hmm.
look, I heard a lot of fun things about that game at MDev.
Yeah. So Coven is well, thank you. Yeah, it's been our more of our incubation project. So with Leap of Faith, at first we were going to be very ambitious and try to do two games at once. But
Mhm.
then once we kind of got into the thick of it and we realized like kind of what Robert was saying at the beginning, like the numbers game of it all, we're like, let's do one well instead of trying to do two good.
Yep.
And so we kind of like pulled back on Coven, really pushed forward on Haven. But we had already submitted for MDev with Coven and Haven. And so when
Okay.
we heard back, we're like, let's go ahead. Let's like get Coven to a good place where it's like playable and everything like that and
Mhm.
get it out there. Um, but it's really like Robert has kind of just like suffered through it with me. It's been like my brainchild of like this whimsical game that I wanted to be able to like play with like my adult friends that we could have the get good moment of like I beat you because I know how to play this game better. Um, but also like easy enough that I could play it with like my 10-year-old daughter and like she could beat me with 5 seconds left in a match just because like she cast a spell and
Yep.
which has happened multiple times. Like she kills me all the time in the game and I get very irritated with her. Um, but it's a completely different like I think for us as Leap of Faith, it's a very good showing that we like to always like take an opportunity to talk about because it does show that like yes we can do a very systems heavy crafting survival game
Yep.
that has a completely different art style, completely different level of polish, a completely different player base, and then also like flip the coin on its other side and make something very cartoony and chaotic like Coven, and generate in some cases the same audience and in other cases completely different.
Ooh. Hey, do you guys hear that? No. Yeah. Ooh.
I don't hear anything on my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Do you
thought
hear
you
anything,
froze
Robert?
for a minute. No. It might be
Nope.
me. It could be my
Oh, okay.
OB. Yeah, it could be the. Let me check my thing real quick. Why is it?
While you do that, I've been like freaking out this whole time because the Mario box behind you, I thought you had like a filter on that was putting that box on your shoulder. And now that I know it exists, I'm just like,
It
my brain.
my wife actually got it for me. And you turn.
That's hilarious.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So. It's on
This
my.
whole time I thought you had like, the streamer filters on and like that was your thing. And I was like, wait, no, that's real. That's really on his desk back there.
I actually did have a filter on earlier. It was like a gaming background, but I'm like,
Hmm.
my background kind of looks the same. Might as well just use mine, you know?
Go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. But I didn't get a chance to play your game because I didn't want to bother you guys on Thursday when you guys were setting up, and I was just walking around, just recording and just getting some footage, and I was basically just there helping Lost Boys set up the streaming rooms, and
Yeah.
which I missed a lot of good speeches though, because I was stuck in one room, you know.
Monday
Yeah.
spoke.
Oh,
Yeah, I yes, I heard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that. Yeah. So next year, I think I will help them set up the streaming areas, but I think I'm just gonna roam and just roam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get more
Like,
footage for
oh
sure.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even for us, like we didn't get a chance to really roam on Thursday, but Friday, especially towards like the back half of the day,
Yep.
when it started to calm down, we roamed around. There was so much good stuff there. Like I'm happy we just kind of walked around. Like there was quite a few games that were like I downloaded them. I still play them. Like I was like, this is a fun game, and they're like, it's only one level, and I'm like, but it's fun, and I
Yeah.
want to get good at this one
Get
level
level.
so I can
Yeah.
prepare for the rest of the game. Um,
No.
but yeah, it
So
was really good. Like Endeavor's great.
so many good games, and it was awesome to see so many young game devs there. That was
I was
impressive.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, like talking with them, it seemed like I guess I don't even know what university is they, but a lot of them said they were like game design students that submitted for MDev. So I was like, good on them because it took a lot for like me to have the confidence to submit my first game, and they're here showcasing it. So like,
Yeah. Yeah.
good on them for that. But yeah, I mean, if that's the future of games, and I think that's good. Like,
I
I'm excited
I
about that.
was I was thinking the same exact thing after leaving. I was like, wow, future games looks awesome right now.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's good
like
to
some of
see.
the oh yeah, there was like a few. There was one like momentum based game that gave me like Mirror's Edge, Neon White kind of vibes, but they
Oh,
had their own mix on it. And like I told the guy, I was like, these mechanics are so tight. Like it's so, I press this button and this thing happens and it's just snappy and it's just like really, really good.
was it
I
that
was like,
first person shooter game?
it was first person, so maybe it was, and you could like run on the walls and stuff.
Yeah, and he had that one left arm. It had like a blade or something on there you can pull up.
Yes, that one. That
That
one was good.
he want that kid named Caden. We're connected.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that kid's got some talent. Him and his buddy. Holy, I told them Thursday. I said, dude, this game is incredible. Dude, you deserve something. And then I didn't know they handed out awards. And then I'm out there at
What?
the last, and yeah, he got one. I was like, see, I told you, kid.
Good for
Amazing.
him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, so it was pretty awesome to see him. Like, he was actually helping me in my streaming room, too. So it's
Oh,
kind of,
nice.
yeah, I had the perfect
See,
assistant for sure.
yeah. No. Well, I know you said you didn't get a chance to play Coven. Did you want to play now?
Yeah, I would love to. I've been streaming. I think I streamed a little bit on Twitch earlier, so I think I'll go back to that and
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
around. But so how do you build?
So you can press B
Oh,
on the keyboard to pull up the build menu,
okay,
and then from there you can cycle through different pieces, and it tells you the requirements.
okay,
Um, the next time, if you go live on like Twitch or something and you're playing Haven and you just want to shoot us some games, we'd be more than happy to like jump in the chat and just be there too.
okay, for sure, man. I do appreciate your guys' time. I love the
Yeah,
work,
Thanks.
thank
and I
you.
wish we had
No,
to. I wish I was smart enough to get it working.
You're
no,
good. You're
all
good.
good. Technology sucks, right?
I guess. Not if you have Robert behind there. He seems to know a lot.
Hey, he's a wizard. But yeah, no, this was great. I think it was good to just kind of like, actually get to talk. And, we'll definitely keep you in the loop as we push updates and everything like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, I
And
think, you
I'll
already seem interested. We'd love to keep you in the loop.
yeah, I'll leave you guys alone tonight, but I will stream it tonight. But tomorrow or I will send you guys a message so I can kind of learn on my own and see how much
Yeah.
I learned. So,
Cool.
Yeah. I would
dude.
say for Haven specifically, like if you press P, you can always get to the controls from there. Like if you click the tutorials tab, it'll give you
Okay.
like all the controls.
Okay.
So you should be able to get there too. But yeah, just let us know. We'd be
All
happy to
right.
jump in the crowd.
Sweet. It was great meeting you guys and great work over there.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
I
you
meeting
so
you.
much.
appreciate it. You guys have a good night.